Hey, Liat. So you can look for the at the bottom. It can ask. You can ask to join. Okay, yes, that's it. Okay, there you are.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you doing?
good. Let me scooch back now that I'm like half the screen. Alrighty. So the title is Gut Brain Connection: The Truth About Your Emotions and Why You Eat What You Eat. And so, for
Right.
those of you joining us live, I'm Jamila McMallow. Whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay on IGTV, I'm Jamila McMallow. I am a life and relationship strategist. So I deal all in emotions. And so I have Liat Nadler here, who is a certified nutrition and a bunch of other letters behind her name, which I'll let you explain. But you might be like, well, why are you talking with her? What does that have to do with what you do? Well, they go hand in hand. You know, our emotional health is a part of our nutrition, and it's just a holistic approach. And so anyway, I thought it would be fun to have this conversation with you today because, you know, we were chatting last night and you were sharing some things with me that I found to be very interesting and eye-opening, and that I don't think a lot of people know, you know, when it comes to just trying to be healthy or even trying to lose weight or combating like emotional eating and things like that. So maybe you can just tell a little bit about yourself and then kind of speak into that a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for inviting me here today. I'm Liat Nadler. I am a certified nutrition specialist. I have a master degree in nutrition and a bunch of other certifications. I mostly do medical nutrition therapy, but as you said, this is something that is holistic. You can't just disconnect the nutrition from anything else, from everything else that is going on in our life. So I do involve a lot of coaching in my services and to help figure out what's going on, what are the limiting beliefs, or what are the root causes of what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we are talking about emotions, we can't ignore the fact that our gut and our brain are connected together. Whether it's the food that we eat that kind of control our pathways in our brain, in our liver, everywhere in our body, or the bacteria that live in our gut, right? We all know that there are billions of bacteria that lives in our gut, and the different combination of, or the map, I would like to call it the GI map, uh, actually, yeah, you know what? Let's call it what it is. They control us, right? They control the way we feel. They control our cravings. They control our energy level. They are part of our immune system. So they may even control how healthy or sick we will be. And this is a huge topic. Of course, we will not be able to cover it in 15 minutes or 1 hour, but it's a very interesting topic to touch on and to speak. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited to talk about it.
absolutely. And just to let you guys know, we're just chatting about this here today, but we're actually going to be diving into it even deeper tomorrow on Clubhouse. Liat and I are hosting a room, and the topic there is similar: nutrition and emotions. What's the real connection? So today is kind of like a teaser, you know, kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be delving into, but you definitely don't want to miss that. The link for the Clubhouse drop-in is going to be in my bio at Coach Jamila LV, and also at Liat, which is Just Eat Well, right?
Yes, with dots in between
Dots.
the words. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll be putting a post on my page as well, probably if not later today, tomorrow. That'll also have all that information on it too. So, but you definitely don't want to miss the Clubhouse discussion tomorrow if this is something that interests you. So, so tell me a little bit more about how these little bacteria control us. Like, for example, someone like me, I have a sweet tooth. and I enjoy sugar. And so, how I have been getting through the last year of the pandemic parenting, as we'll call it, because I had a daughter in 2 months after the lockdown. So, I was pretty much in the hospital alone most of the time. And then, when I came home, my husband was home for 2 months and then he went back to work. And so here I am with a newborn. And at that time, he was 2.5. And so I'm just like, running on E. And when the kids were all in bed, and finally, my way of just allowing myself to relax, because I don't drink, I don't like the taste of alcohol, I'm going to eat some cookies. And then, like, maybe a month ago, I said, well, I'm going to try to transition back to ice cream. And so I just had a bowl of ice cream, but I don't know, that doesn't really agree with me anymore. But whatever the case is, sugar just makes me feel better. And you know what? Here's what's funny. It doesn't make me gain. It doesn't, I don't get fat from eating a lot of sugar. If I eat a lot of bread, I will gain weight. Like if I'm eating too many bagels or lots of pizza or something like that, but I can do it's weird, right? But anyway, so maybe you can speak into that a little bit or something, if that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, you are not the only one. Everybody loves the sugar. This is how we are wired. I mean, if we go back to the days where we didn't have refrigerator or we didn't have storages of food, what we used to go for is the honey hives, right? To get the sugar
Mm-hmm.
out of it because this is what we want. We want the how do you say it?
Like the energy from it.
Yeah, but it's a very like, oh my gosh, the word just got out of my head. It's available, ready to
Mm-hmm.
use energy, right?
Right.
And this is what our body needs because we are lazy creatures. I mean, let's admit it. It's much easier to get the easy to go or easy to use energy
Mm-hmm.
rather than the hardest stuff. So this is how we are wired. We want that simple sugar. However, let's not, when I said that we have the bacteria that kind of control us, it's not the only thing that controls us. What you describe, it maybe, again, I'm not trying to coach you or diagnose or anything. It may also relate to stress, which is another thing that we can talk about. And one of the ways for our brain to kind of release the stress is to look for things that will release the dopamine, right?
Yeah.
Sugar. So again, I don't know exactly the entire picture, but
Right.
that
I
may
would say
be
it
the
was stress
case.
related, being sleep deprived. Yeah, and just like needing, because I know when I finally kind of connected. When I'm tired, it seems like my appetite is increased because it's like I feel like my body is trying to find some way to keep me going.
Right.
Because normally I just loosely apply intermittent fasting, just to kind of balance off whatever, which is no problem. But I notice if I'm tired, it's really, I'm almost hungry right in the morning quicker because I feel like my body is, because it's like, listen, we have no energy. So we
That
got
is
to get
exactly
something
true.
in here. So yeah.
Yeah, this is true. And as for the, if you know, each part of the questions that you ask is a huge topic by itself. So if I take us back a little bit about the bacteria, and I can give a great example about bacteria overgrowth, whether it's SIBO. SIBO is a small intestine, a small bacteria, not small bacteria, bacteria overgrowth, or some people know it as candida, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in some people, they will experience when there is some kind of overgrowth, a lack of energy, like fatigue or feeling sluggish. They will have digestive issues. They will crave the sugar, just like you described. But in those cases, we will see that these people will wake up in the middle of the night to get the sugar. Like they are
Mm.
hungry. They
Wow.
want, like, they are being controlled. And this is heard of for people that are, generally speaking, healthy. If things are balanced, this is not something like this is not supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to wake up in the middle of the night hungry and looking for sugar.
Right.
So this is one example of how things can go wrong with overgrowth of specific bacteria. It can also be related to our skin. We will see acne or psoriasis or rosacea, all kind of chronic inflammation of the skin, because they try, once they overgrow, they will try to get everywhere that they can find the food that they are looking for, and one of the places is the skin.
Wow.
um, yeah, again, I can go get lost with that, with that topic. There's so much to talk about. It's super, super interesting. Yeah.
So, what is like maybe just a couple of bullet points you could share just for anybody watching this, just to know who's maybe struggling with emotional eating, that feels like in order to lose weight, they have to deprive themselves, that it has to be this horrible, experience of like, this is the way it's done, because I kind of feel like you are really busting myths, about what people believe to be true about what it means to be healthy, what nutrition is all about, and how to just, because really, if you're healthy, and you can correct me, but in my thinking, if you're healthy, your body's going to naturally shed anything that's excessive. So any excess weight is going to just fall off. It's not supposed to be there. If you're healthy and balanced and exercising, doing all the things you're supposed to do. But I know that you had some specific thoughts around like deprivation, and
Absolutely. Yeah. So, many times I will get people come into my clinic, to my practice, and will say, I'm doing everything that I need to do. I I don't eat gluten. I don't eat the carbs. I do the intermittent fasting, just like you said. I eat the vegetables. I eat that, and still something is missing here. It's not necessary to deprive yourself from foods that you like. I'm not saying that doing it the way people do it is the best way. Obviously, I have solutions, but deprivation is absolutely not the sustainable solution for for long-term results. Right now, I'm not talking about what kind of result, because everybody are different. Some people are looking for weight loss. Other people want to just feel good. I had a client a few months back. She said, I tried all the diets out there. Like, I'm an expert. I've read all the books. I've tried everything. I don't want you to talk with me about my weight. I just want to feel like I have a functioning body.
mm,
And that is perfectly fine. If she decide to focus on the weight later, that is absolutely fine. And she eventually lost weight without even
mm-hmm.
a aiming for that result. But without having the continuing thoughts about, oh, I shouldn't eat that, I shouldn't drink alcohol, I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't eat right now, like having all these ridiculous, I'm sorry if I'm hurting somebody, but these are ridiculous rules
Yeah.
that are disattaching the person, their food story, their food relationship, their symptoms, their what's going on in their lives. Some people are experiencing some serious stuff. Like, we had COVID. We can just say, oh, let's look at your meal plan and disconnect the fact that right now we're having a global catastrophe
Yeah.
that
Yep.
people need to deal with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to look at all of these aspects and find the solution for the person without making them or her or him, whoever it is, feeling deprived, feeling they're missing something. Because if we do this that way, I promise you, after 2 3 weeks, they will binge on that specific food.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not it's not the way I work anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, people, it's like this. Yeah, you can get results, you'll lose weight, right? But I don't think anybody long term ends up really being happy living that way. It's like, well, yeah, great. I have six pack abs and look fly in my low rise jeans, but man, I really just want some ice cream, right? So
Yeah,
it's like what's more important? And honestly, sometimes you're like, who cares? I'm just gonna eat the ice cream. And then what you
exactly.
said, then you binge, and then that's not good, because one of the ways I've always kept myself in control is moderation. Okay, I'm just gonna have one bowl a day, and I'm gonna enjoy that one bowl, and that's I'm just gonna enjoy it, and that's it. And I'm unapologetic about it. Like people, my dad, my parents, they're so funny. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have some frozen yogurt. I'm like, I don't want any frozen yogurt. If I'm gonna eat ice cream, I'm gonna eat real ice cream, not artificial, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? I don't do fake stuff.
Oh yeah,
I do not. It's like, don't even invite me if it's
yeah,
not real.
that's true.
But I have a question for you about, this idea, of how there's that connection with the gut and the brain. Have you found in your practice that sometimes what's going on in our gut is even connected to things like depression or anxiety?
110%. I
Wow.
mean, there is absolute connection, like no shadow of a doubt. There is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, and yes. Many times it will be connected to what we call reactive hypoglycemia. When people, just like you described, I'm going to do the intermittent fasting, not going to eat, limited the times of the day that we are going to eat, or whatever it is, or I'm going to limit the amount of carbs that I'm eating, and eventually they creating a constant hypoglycemia that is going on, and that is affecting our brain and our mood, our depression,
Now,
our
what is
emotions.
hypoglycemia, just for the person who doesn't know?
Oh, yes, sorry. So
You got to
hypoglycemia.
dumb it
So I'm sorry.
down.
So hypoglycemia is when our blood sugar level is dropping down below the what we would like it to be. So there is a balanced level, and this is below what we
So is that like
want
low
it to
blood
be.
sugar?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
low blood sugar. Yes.
Okay, got it. Yep, I'm following.
Of course, there can be other reasons like food allergy or chronic inflammation that is going on in the body. But generally speaking, yes, there is a connection between anxiety, panic attacks, depression,
Hmm.
ADHD, ADD, all of these things, and maybe even some more that are related to the food that we eat. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we have a comment here from Sue. She said, "Hi, I think I'm addicted to processed food as a cure for emotional stress."
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. This is part of the food story, about the food relationship, about gut bacteria. Um, and it's not, and I have, full disclosure here. It's not something that there is an easy fix. I'm not promising easy solutions here. I'm just stating that there is a way to see results. I'm not promising that it's an easy
Right.
process,
Mm-hmm.
but the way I do it is taking it bit by bit, finding what is the root cause, where are the bottlenecks,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of I'm revealing what we can do, whether it's nutrition, whether it's supplements, or maybe just coaching, like
Mm-hmm.
pure coaching,
Mm-hmm.
to see how we can deal with it.
Right. Thank you so much. Willpower. She said willpower. Now, I don't think willpower works. I think it only gets you so far. So, but you're the professional. You tell us.
I totally agree with you. And I also want to touch one more point. You mentioned earlier moderation. It's another word that I'm like, no, there is no such thing as moderation. How does it even look like? No, moderation is a word that the same as willpower. We can get until a certain point with willpower. Until that point, again, as I said, we are controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make sure we have the good bacteria. Let's make sure that we are dealing with the root cause, whether it's what happened in our childhood, what happened,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that's what
Sometimes
I
we,
was going to ask you. That's what I was going to ask you is so, Sue, you're so funny. Um, is when people are children and they experience trauma, right? So we know from that there can come certain ways of being that they develop in order to cope. And so what kind of is what is the order of that? Like, does the trauma happen and does that actually like affect the body and the gut on that level, or is it strictly in the emotions, or is it all just one thing that it just when it happens it affects the whole system?
trauma affects our body in ways that we cannot imagine, like whether it's the gut bacteria, whether it's the way the liver detoxify, uh, and obviously our emotions like PTSD and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the most interesting thing is that we create some kind of behaviors that are related to those traumas or the way we were taught. Like some moms or dads will tell their kids, "Oh, don't eat the sugar; you will have diabetes, or you will have, or you will be overweight."
Mm-hmm.
Or I've seen all kind of things. Or you need to always do better. Who doesn't know this parent? Like, oh, you got an A, that is not enough. Now you need to
Food
put more
becomes
effort.
associated with shame. Like, because
Right.
you are, like, even speaking to what Sue said about willpower, when people say willpower, what it's essentially saying is there's something wrong with you. You're not strong enough. You're not smart enough. You don't have what it takes to make it happen. It's like you have to rise above and become this thing in order to just drop 5 pounds. And it's like, it's not an attack. It becomes an attack on our character, and
Mm-hmm.
we can begin to internalize it as if, wow, we really just don't have self-control, we really are just this person that's just a lost cause, all these negative things that we start to
Right.
say to ourselves. And so that's kind of what I'm hearing you saying, and also that speaks into that idea of that you just need to set your mind to it. Your
Yes,
mind needs to.
need to set your mind to it. You need to stop eating carbs. You need to stop eating gluten. What happened if you did eat the gluten or the carb? What kind of process is going on? I mean, you are the coach. What's going on if we fail this one time? What a horrible chain of reaction that will cause, right?
Yeah, because we start beating ourselves up and go into that negative self-talk loop. And especially you spoke about, when we have parents, I told you I've had clients who've had that overbearing mother that said to them, that monitored their food and restricted it and said, you're going to be fat if you eat this. And the woman almost had like an aversion. She loves food, but had like an aversion to just eating too much. And if she ate what she felt like was too much, she would beat herself up, and really develop an eating disorder, so through our work together, working on her emotions and her relationship with food, she was, able to really overcome that. But just knowing that on an even deeper level, like on a biological deeper level, there's these things going on that have kind of the whole body, the whole system. Because really, when you condition a child that way, that is traumatic.
It is.
Trauma is anything that causes pain. And to deny a child, a portion of food, that's painful to them. And they begin to make an association in a negative way with food, because children think in black and white. They don't think in this gray way that we adults see things. And so, anyway, and then you get to be, 30, 40, and then you have to go get a coach to help you unravel, figure it out, right? So,
Sadly, this is true. Yeah.
yeah. So I was just curious about that. So, so trauma really impacts the whole body. And I do know, the body stores emotions in different organs and things like that. So, how is the gut affected? The little bacteria.
So it's interesting. I wish I could show some slides here because there are actually maps that shows even like the way we are born, whether it's vaginal or C-section, you can see a different map of gut bacteria, whether it's people that has been to war or massive trauma,
Mm-hmm.
or different, even different foods. Like there is an interesting article that shows that they took a group of people, they completely changed their diet for 3 weeks, and then they did a stools analysis, right, to see the bacteria. And then they came back and ate exactly the same foods that they ate before, and you could see a completely different map.
Hmm.
So it's our emotion. How many times did you feel like somebody hurt you or you were scared? Let's talk about trauma. You were scared and your gut hurt,
Yeah, that's where you feel your emotions is in your
right?
gut. You know when
Fear.
someone's good. Yeah, you know when someone's bad. You feel it in your gut. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sue says, is there any right way to train a child? Does the perfect parent exist? No, of course the perfect parent doesn't exist, but definitely when it comes to food, not creating a negative relationship or association with our child. And even if we provide them with healthy snacks and they eat in the best way, the biggest teacher to our children is our example. So if we have, especially if our child is a girl and we're a woman, if we have a negative relationship with food and we're always dieting and we're always complaining about our bodies or we're always restricting ourselves, that's what they learn. Children live what they learn. So they'll hear you and what you're trying to teach them, but they're going to do what you do. So the better you take care of yourself and just simply model what it is to be healthy and to have a good relationship with food, that's what they're going to follow. Does that make sense,
Wow.
Liat, or did you have a
Oh
thought on
yeah,
that?
yeah. You're correct. And I have an article that I wrote like 4 years ago on my website, on the blog, about ways you can help picky eaters, like the kids,
Mm-hmm.
in a more positive way. So yes, your example is like how we treat foods, how we think about food, how we talk, how we look at ourselves in the mirror. Our kids see that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is the best example. You can't put the Coke on the table and tell your kids you're not allowed to have it while you're pouring it to yourself.
hmm I tell my son, I said, you can't have the ice cream. This is for adults only.
That's exactly.
I said, these are mom's cookies. Mom needs these cookies right now. You get through the day, you don't understand. So I give them the cookies. The reason why I don't give them the ice cream is because I just know what sugar does to a 3-year-old. They turn into something different. And so that's interesting too. I wonder, and now I do believe that there are a lot of children. Oh, she said beer too. But I believe that there are millions of children who have been misdiagnosed, who have had labels put on them, and their only challenge is their diet. Because when I remember the first time I gave my son a piece of my cookie, and he went, woo! and I jokingly say he turned into something different because he did. It was like all of a sudden he's just like, ah. And so I said, oh my
Sugar
goodness.
rush.
Yes, sugar turns children into something different. Like that's not who they really are. And I can say that because he doesn't have it all the time. And so for the child who maybe parents are busy or working a lot or they're eating a lot of processed food or a lot of sugary things, their behavior is absolutely impacted by that. And there's nothing wrong with them. They don't have a brain malfunction. It's what they're eating. They don't need a
Yeah.
label and medication. They need somebody to just feed them properly. And so I just felt like when I saw that, I said, oh my goodness, this is probably a real, what's actually happening in a lot of cases. And how sad that these children grow up thinking that they have a malfunction. They don't have a malfunction. They just don't have the opportunity to eat the way that they need to just function calmly, or normally.
Yeah.
Because little kids are going to be bebopping and all over, but not like that.
Yeah.
I saw it. It was
That's
from
true.
zero to crazy and like, whoa. So, yes. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that.
That is a beautiful example because it's exactly how it is. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So anyway, I'm sorry, but back to the gut and trauma and all that.
So yeah, I guess we kind of covered most of the examples. I can go on and talk about it. You know, there is another example. If you mentioned kids, so many times kids with celiac disease, you know, that they can't eat gluten. By the time that they are being diagnosed, their gut lining. So I, for those of you who don't know, our intestine has this kind of villi, like they're some kind of a brush-like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
tissue,
That move
right?
the things along. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And these are actually absorbing the nutrients, and they have all kind of function. And each villi has its own microvilli on top of it to create a bigger surface, right? Kids and people with celiac in general, their villi are getting shorter and shorter because of the chronic inflammation that is going on. That creates that, yeah, that may create some leaky gut, what we call leaky gut. So
Mm-hmm.
things that shouldn't go into the body, things that should go in don't get absorbed. That can react with the thyroid. So suddenly they may have some, start to have hair under their arms and have lower energy, or create some ADHD type of behaviors. So if we're talking about a good example for gut brain kind of connection, this would be an excellent
Mm-hmm.
example for it. I'm generalizing it,
Right, of
you
course.
know, I'm just letting you know that it's not every case is like this. I'm
Right.
talking about some of the cases that I've seen are can absolutely be a good example for what we are talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Sue, did you have any other questions, or anybody else, Latrice, or whoever else is on live? If you had any other questions, feel free to pop them in the comments here. We are also going to be doing a room tomorrow on Clubhouse, diving more into this subject. The topic is nutrition and emotions. What's the real connection? And it's in my club, High Power Healing, which is geared towards women coaches, executives, and business owners. And so as women coaches and business owners and executives, you know, women who are out there doing the thing, you know, being driven, being there for everybody else, one of the biggest challenges we have sometimes is making ourselves a priority and taking care of ourselves. And so I think this discussion is very important, because in order for us to continue showing up and being that rock or that pillar or support for our families, our clients, whomever, we have to be, you know, in tip top shape. And so I just love the things that Liat was sharing, because it just really debunks some of this stuff that, you know, is going on, that we have as like ideas or whatever stuff that we're doing that's like really kind of a waste of time, is what I'm hearing from you. It's like, why even bother putting that weight on ourselves, you know, in addition to everything else that we do. So if that sounds interesting to you, then you absolutely want to join us tomorrow on Clubhouse. The link is in my bio at Coach Jamila LV. I'll be doing a post either later today or tomorrow, and also you can probably find that on Liat's page as well. Do you want to just say what your Instagram handle is?
Yes, it's just dot eat dot well. And the
Okay.
dot is a real dot, it's not a word.
Yeah, so make sure you follow Liat. And then again, just click the link in our bio, or look at the post, or check our stories, and you'll see the link there. Yeah, she's thanking you. Can you see that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
can see that. Thank you, Sue.
Yep. So, like I said, tomorrow Clubhouse, and it's at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock Eastern Time. The link, the drop-in link, will also allow you to create an account if you're not already on Clubhouse, and it'll also let you join my club, which is High Powered Healing for, like I said, high-powered women coaches, executives, and entrepreneurs. So, Liat, did you have anything that you wanted to add before we log off? Do you have any upcoming master classes or anything that, or your group on Facebook, or anything that you want to share?
Yeah, so I have my Facebook group. It's called Anti-Inflammatory, Vegan, and Fabulous. You don't have to be vegan in order to be able to get in just sharing some ideas, recipes. It's a great place to ask questions and learn a little bit about how to treat yourself kindly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this was great. I love this. If you're just tuning in now, I'm Jamila McMallow. I'm a life and relationship strategist, and I help high-powered women coaches, executives, and business owners do accelerated deep inner healing so that they are able to break through those barriers that are keeping them from having the relationships that they want and from showing up unleashed and with full confidence in their businesses. So and Liat is a certified nutritionist, and which includes just all kinds of amazing, cool stuff. And so you definitely want to make sure that you, like I said, connect to her, connect to me. My Facebook group is High Powered Healing, and all of my info is in the link on my bio at Coach Jamila LV. Same thing for Liat. And please, please, please join us tomorrow. This was just a teaser for our discussion tomorrow on Clubhouse, again at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Check the link in my bio so you can drop in and join us. All right. So thank you so much, ladies. And I don't think there's any gentlemen here, but thank you so much, Liat. And we look forward to seeing you all here next time. All right. Take
Thank
care.
you, Jamila. Bye.
Bye.